Hi guys, and welcome back to Victori's Creations. Today we're going to make a digital planner template. And the reason we're going to do a template is so that we can always make more from one. Once you do the base of your digital planner, then all you have to do is just kind of add to it or make it just a little bit different by adding different little things. So if you're ready, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is click on Keynotes, because that is what we're going to use for this tutorial, for our for this tutorial to make our template. Click on New Documents. I choose the classic white just because it's just plain and I can add to it and do what I want with it to make it how I want. So make sure your classic white is what is surrounded by red, pink, or whatever color it is that's on your screen. Click Create, and you have what looks like a presentation that looks like a PowerPoint. And yes, you can create one of these in PowerPoint, and that will be a video for another day. For those who do not have the iMac or the iPad, because you can do this on the iPad as well. I like better doing it on my computer. So once you're on this screen, you're going to come over to Document and click on that. Come down to Slide Size and go to Custom Slides. Now, for the width, I like to use 2388, and for the height, I like to use 1638. Click OK, and now you will notice that you can now scroll to make it to where it fits on your screen and you're not having to do the whole scroll thing. Click on Fit Slide once and then go back and click on it again, because when you do it once, it's not, the only thing it's changing is it's changing it from Fit Slide to Auto Center. And so we want to Fit Slide, and you notice now you can't scroll. So it's on your screen, the whole thing. So now we're going to go over to Format. And now we're going to click Edit Slide Layout. And the reason why we're going to do that is we're going to edit our template using the master copy. And the reason we do that is so that when you are creating the actual planner, you're making a copy of your template to create your actual planner, and you're adding all the pages and you're adding all this and adding all that. You're not moving things that needs to be there. Also, you're not having to add each and every time. It's already there. You don't have to worry about it again. So edit slide layout. The very first slide will be called title. I don't know. Oh, you can rename it. If you right click on title on the title slide and hit rename, you can rename this. So let's rename ours our cover slide. And this is a cover slide because this is where your cover is going to be. This is the cover of your presentation. And if you have the yellow lines on your screen, it's no big deal. Go to, which one was it under? View. Go to Guides and hide guides. And that takes those lines off because you don't need those. Take your mouse and scroll over everything so that it picks up, and that's, hold your button down, or was it the right click on your mouse? No, left click on your mouse, and then drag your mouse, and that collects everything at once. This is a trick I learned a few years ago, and it has been a game changer, like completely. So delete all of that because you no longer need that. Now you want to set your background. This is going to be your background for all of your slides. This is the table, if you will, that your that your planner is sitting on, so to speak. So you can make it whatever you want. I'm going to use mine and make it image. So click on, you could do image, you can do color fill, gradient fill, or you could do image. I'm going to do image. Go to choose, and I have, it helps to know where all of your images and whatever that you're going to use for your planner. It helps to know where they're at. I'm going to use a marble look, so it looks like it's sitting on a marble table. Now, this is where we get to make our first our cover paper, so to speak. Cover paper. It's kind of like when it's all done, this slide is going to look as though you have a planner sitting on top of a table. That's what this is for. So you're going to click on shape, and I don't choose the square because most of your planners aren't pointy at each corner. They're kind of rounded. So I click on the rounded rectangle, and you can make that. You don't want it too close to the top because you may have tabs up here. You don't want it all the way to the bottom because you may have tabs down there. So let's make it 1500 in height. Let's see if I can make it 1500 in height. So way to do it. I think it's under arrange. It is. If you go to arrange, and you'll notice where it says size, you can click, see it says 1505. If you cannot get it precisely how you want it, you can come over here, and then I can click that down arrow, and now it's at 1500. Now I'm going to slide it over, and I don't want it completely on the edge here because you're going to have tabs on this side, and you got to have room for the tabs because anything that you place outside of here may not show up. Now, the little green, I don't know if you can see it really well, but the little green dot, when you put your mouse over it, it becomes two arrows, and you can kind of play around to get your corners the way you want them. And 25 looks like a good one. Now, although we're not going to add two of these to this slide, you want to go ahead and do a duplicate of this one. Not because you're not going to keep it, but this way you can see that you have this exactly how wide it needs to be. You may have to shorten it up, and you want to do it now rather than do it later. So I'm going to Control C and Control V so that I have two, and I'm going to set them. I don't want them, and if you notice, I'm already off the slide. So that tells me that that is too wide. Now, I don't want to move this side because I want to have room, so I'm going to make this side shorter. I want to see, where is my center? Oh, it's not going to show me. A lot of times it'll show you your center. Command Z to put it back where it was, or to undo what I just did. Our size, we have it set. Let's go to 4850. We'll make this one 48. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. 1050. We'll make this one 1050 as well. 05. Hit enter. And now it looks like we've got a little too much room. So let's make it a little bit bigger now. Let's try 1075. This is kind of one of those. It's not an exact science. 1075. And that looks like that will work just fine. So 1075 by 1500 is a very good size for this. So go ahead and take out the one because you just need the one. Now you can choose to leave this on the side here, or you can choose to move it over. It's really up to you. And for this slide, this is our cover slide. It's really just a preference. You can move it over, you can leave it. It doesn't really matter. But at this point, you're going to click on this again, on this little square or tall rectangle. And this is where you get to choose. Go to Style, and you get to choose how you want it to look. And I have an image that I want to put in here where it says, when you're on Fill, click on where it says Color Fill, and you'll go to Image Fill. And we don't want the same image because we don't want it to blend. So click on Choose. Choose the image you want. And you'll notice that it now has the outline or the shape. I'm not really sure. Let's see. Oh. Original size. Oh, I'm clicked on the wrong thing. Here. Original size. Ooh. You can kind of play around with it. I really don't like that. This is why you want to look at it here. This gives you the option. So let's go back to choose. Let's find something else. And these two are going to be basically the same. What does this one look like? No. Go back to planners. Let's look at summer pinks. And this is where we get to kind of play around. This is the fun part of creating your planner because you get to kind of do what you want to. And remember, this part is always editable. Yeah, I said that right. Editable. Not edible. Editable. You know what I'm trying to say. This is the part that you can change as you want. Yes, I'm squinting while looking at my screen. Let's do kissy face. So do we want... It's taking a minute. Oh, that's my SVG. Oh, I can't do those kissy face. We'll do these kissy face. Now you can choose... Oh, that doesn't have anything behind it. It's like plain. So let's not do kissy face. There we go. Now, this does kind of got that, it's just kind of sitting there. It doesn't really look like it has any kind of depth to it. It doesn't look 3D. It looks very flat. So you can always drop a shadow to make it look as though, see how that no longer looks flat, to make it look, and you can choose whichever one you want to make it look like it's sitting on there. It's no longer a stationary or 2D object, 1D object, whatever that's called. And you just choose whichever one you want. Do you want it to look like the ends are up? Do you want it to look like it's just kind of there? I like that one. Now, This is where you can also add your shape, and you can choose what shape you want. This is your title area. You don't want to put your title in this because remember, this is just the template. You're only wanting to put the box there. And you can really make this whatever color you want. Oh, I forgot I still had them both selected. So no worries, undo, put that there. Now, and you can even just make it white, which I think is what I'm going to do. And I want this, this is where, see that comes in handy. It gives you a little bit of depth to it. You can add a little shadow. No. To give it that little textured look. And now we want to add our binders. So for our binders, we're going to go back to insert and choose, because remember, that is what pulls up our finder so that we can look for what we want. Go back to planners down here. No. I want to say it's in my OneDrive. Yep. I actually have some binders that I bought from Etsy. Yes. I really bought them like a while back, so I really don't remember who I bought them from, but I think I can go back into my, what's it called? Your purchase history, I think it is, to locate them. Okay, once you have them in there, you want to make that fit. And you just kind of play around the size and bring it in closer. And voila, check that out. Okay, so we're not done yet. This is just the first part. And this is part of the why we want to do this in the master slide, because you don't want to have to do this each and every time. Once you make this template, that's it. It's the template is done. You can make multiple planners using this one template. So the next thing we need to do is put our tabs in. So, but here's the cool thing. Once you put your tabs in, then you're pretty much set, because you can copy the tabs into the next one, into the next slide. And then you can just keep copying and keep copying and keep copying, which makes it a lot easier. Okay, so now let's put our shapes back in. And you want to put it here, because this is where your tab's going to be. Now, if you're doing for the full 12 months, I was going to say 6 months. If you're doing for the full 12 months, then you're going to have 12 of these tabs. So you want to go ahead and duplicate. So I do copy, and now paste 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I just put that underneath there. 9, 10, 11. And you don't necessarily have to, oh, I think that's 12. So I'm going to put this one kind of down here where I want it to go. I want to highlight just my tabs, go to arrange, and we're going to distribute them. And we are, is this vertical or horizontal? Horizontal. Okay, now I want them evened up, and you just saved yourself a whole lot of time trying to figure out how to do this. Now, here's where it gets fun. First you want to change the color. And really and truly, whatever color that you want them to be, you want to try to make it match a little bit. But you also want to give it a shadow. You want to have, let's see, where's it at? Okay. Make it a little darker. And you want it to be angled so that it's on this side. Because your tab, there we go. So, and what I like to do is hit that copy, because you do not want to have to sit there and try to move that little circle to get it exactly the way you want it. So copy, Control C, and you can make the opacity a little bit lighter. That way it doesn't look too, you know, messed up. Okay, my computer is doing this cool little thing where it's remembering my settings, all my stuff. I don't know if yours is doing that or not, but mine is. I'm loving it. Ooh, I did not mean to click on that. I'm loving it because it takes out a lot of work on my side. So I really hope yours is doing it. If not, you just really make sure all of these numbers are the same, and make sure this number is the same on each one of them. And you'll notice, since I'm doing this, let me go ahead and stop for just a second. I want to show you. These look like they're sitting on top of each other, whereas these, you can't even tell that there's more than one there other than these little bitty V parts. And that's why you do the drop shadow. Oh, see, that one didn't do it. No, it wasn't that one. It was this one. That one didn't do it. And this is where the Control E. Oh, it didn't do it on this side. 118. See, guys, I spoke way too soon. I know that was. Oh, that was 14. Yeah, I make faces when I do stuff like this. I'm probably crazy like that. 4, 5, 14, 119. 14, 119, but it's not showing up now. What did I do wrong? You know what else I can do? I don't know why I didn't do that before. I don't know why. On all the other ones it was 119, but not on this one. Okay. Sometimes you just have to take matters into your own hands. And this one needs to go back. Oh, not all the way to the back. Yet. Not all the way to the back yet. Because these are all going to the back. Alright. Paste. How many do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, 12. You can choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can choose to, oh, wrong way. It was vertical. You can choose to just do the one or do two, get the shadow exactly how you want it, and then copy all the way down. And then you're good to go. Now, I didn't do that just because I'm hard-headed, and sometimes I just like to make things difficult for myself sometimes. You know how that goes. Now we need to put our words on here. You can do that right on here. That is fine. I choose not to. Simply because it's just easier for me to just do a text and then place it where I want it. So, add text. And your text, when you click on text up here, it will always appear in the center. So, I'm going to slide it over here just so I can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to put January. And you notice these tabs are only so big, so you do not need to spell out the whole thing unless you're going to make your words really small. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you can put these over here, and then you can turn them. Here it is. All right. You have to play with this machine again. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I hate that little dial tone or little dial thingy, circle thingy. So I'm just going to do that. That says 0. If I set that to 90, did I hit? Oh, I hit the 0. So if it's at 90, it turns one way. So if it's at 180, 270? Guys, I don't know my math. 270. Set it for 270. And you want it kind of close to the top. Now you can change your fonts. You can change, excuse me. Not that way. Style. So where it says text, style, you can change it to whatever you want, however you want it to look. The only thing I'm going to suggest is when you change your font, make sure it's something that you can easily read. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time with seeing what it is. I'm always drawn to the cursive. I'm trying to break myself from wanting everything to be cursive. Let's try this at 75. And we're going to slide it down just a little bit because you want it to be seen. So if I take this and I go to arrange and I send it to the back, you want to be able to see the name. You want to be able to see what month it is because you're going to make this clickable when you're creating the actual planner. So you want that. So you're going to do the same thing to February through December. And you can make it easier on yourself now that this is already turned. You guys know I like doing things the hard way. I don't know why. But let's highlight both of these again, bring them back to the front because I want to Now let's take it back one. Because you want, there, you want this shadow to stay shown. So let's go ahead and put this here for February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. And if you're not sure if you're getting them centered up on your paper, oh, I didn't mean to do that. My fingers kept going. Highlight both the text and that box. Go to align and will center do it? No, center will not do it. Go to middle. And then top. If you do that, Control Z. And by the way, that is why we're doing this. So that did not work the way I thought it would. If these were turned normal, it would have worked. Okay. Now that we have the names there, we need to put in the April, May, June, July, August. My birth month. Oh, September, October, November, December. There. Now, for the purposes of the copying and pasting, to make sure everything stays like it is, highlight every last one of these. Do not, make sure you do not have the actual planner highlighted, just the tabs, and then click on group. And that groups them so that it is now one. No matter where I move, no matter which one I grab, it's only going to do one. Put it back over here. I know it's in the center because that little guide showed up. It's not touching the edge. And now I want to send it to the back. Now, you would think that that means that our cover page is done, right? And it can be done. If that's all you want, then that's fine. You can just leave it blank, and then you can add what you want to when you go to the go to making it without being on the master copy. And I'm going to suggest that that's what you do, because you may not want the same thing on every single one. So now what we're going to do, cover page done. That's it. That was not very painful, right, guys? So now we're going to go over and we're going to do the next page. And our next page is really going to set everything up for the rest of the slide. So let's get started with the next page. Okay, for the second page and the rest of the pages for the templates, because this is just a template, what we're going to do is go down, and it's not going to let you select each one like all of them together. So what you're going to want to do is click each one of them independently, and we're going to go ahead and delete all of these slides except for the very last one. We're not going to delete the blank one because you want a blank slide for just in case you need it. So you just right click. Oh, I didn't mean to hit paste. Delete all of them. Because you're not going to need all of these slides. This is your template. make sure you don't delete that last one. We're going to leave one blank. So now you're going to come back up to your cover slide, right click, and duplicate. Now that we have it duplicated, now we can come over here. This is our second slide. This is no longer the cover slide copy, so we need to rename this. So right click on that, and rename. And we are going to name this, Inside Planner would work. It'll be fine. If you have something else you want to name it, that is perfectly fine too. Get rid of those the spine, the rings. Get rid of the name thing, and do not get rid of anything else. So what we're going to do with this is we are now going to change this. You can leave it the same and put your paper on top of it, in which case I will show you what that looks like. So we're going to grab another shape, or another one of the same shapes. You're going to put it about there, and you want it to fill up page. Now this is your paper, so your paper is going to be more pointed than anything. Or you can make this, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this the, what's that? Okay, you open up your binder and you've got the, you can still see the cover, but you've got the other thing that is on top of it. It's like a covers up where the binders and the side slide. I don't know what it's called. I know what I'm talking about, but I don't know how to say it. Now, you can choose to leave this just like it is, and you can even make this, if this is going to be our, you want it to be close to the edge but not on the edge. You want to still be able to see part of your cover, just like that. Now duplicate by copy paste, Control V. You're gonna make that white. Actually, we're gonna make that, keep that black, but we're going to go to Style, and where it says border, you're gonna choose a line border, and then where the lines are, you're gonna choose the, you can either choose the close together dashes or the further apart dashes. You want to make those whites, and there they are. And you want to just bring this down just a hair. Basically, you're making this one just a slight smaller than the other one. Now, click out of it. If you don't like the way the stitches, because that's kind of what they're for, you can always, if you don't like the way they look, go back to the smaller ones. I kind of like the smaller ones better than I like the others. I'm going to highlight, use my mouse and highlight all three of those, and I'm going to group them together. That way, that is now one solid piece. Now that I have that grouped together, the next thing I want to do is click on my, I forgot I grouped those together. Click on my tabs, and then we're going to bring those to the front. You want to see them laying on top, because this is essentially the back of your planner. This is the back of it. If you had a paper planner in front of you or a book planner in front of you, open it up to the very back page, and that's what you're looking at. Now, granted, when we are looking at it in the back page, these are not on the back, but we're going to change those as we go. So take your back page that you just made and let's duplicate it. Control C, Control V, and move it over. Now the next thing we want to do is grab our binders. So we are going to insert and choose. And mine is still on the same page that my binders was on, or that where I picked up my binders last, because that was the last thing that I did. And kind of play around with it until I see the one that I want. I don't know if I'll keep this one. Nope, I want another one. Normally when I'm doing this, I will open up all of them that I'm kind of wanting to use, and then I will kind of play with each one of them until I get the one that I want. And you can always move it closer so it's where it needs to be. I'm going to show you guys what I normally do. See if it'll let me choose more than one. Yep. Thought it normally did, but I want to try all three of these, especially now that I've got this moved over. I really didn't want to move that over, but sometimes it's not about what we want. It's about what we have to do. Okay, so these two are already out because it's only got this shadow hole on one side. This one. The only way for this one to work, it looks like, is if I edit, if I cut part of it off. So if I get it the way I want it. I feel like I have to sneeze. If I get it the way I want it, and then it's not going to let me do that on here. I thought it did before, but I guess not. Edit. I think that's the, yes. No. Keep it in there. There. That really did not do what I wanted it to. Sometimes these are not the easiest things to work with. Seriously? Oh no. That's what I was doing wrong. I was clicking it wrong. Done. Slide this down. And pull that down. And there's our binders. That will work. I went through all that and I'm not even sure I want to keep it. Control Z. Anytime you move something, and that will happen a lot if you are just creating this without going through the master slide. How I moved this and I didn't mean to. That will happen a lot if you're not creating the master slide to work on everything else with. Trust me. I kind of like the other one better. See that? Control Z. Click on that, delete. There. Bring that down. And now it is complete. I want to say, yes, it's in the center. Okay. Now, when we create these binders, and I know we went ahead and did it, but we went ahead and did it because we need to know where these need to be situated. So, but these binders will always remain on top. So no matter what else we do, these binders have to remain on top. So now, before we put our papers in, let's go ahead and format. Oh, because I have, is it because I have them grouped? Yep. Go to style. We need to add our shadow. And we only want the shadow on the very bottom piece. And this one, it looks like it's opened up. Now you can choose for this shadow not to be so far. You can choose for it to be different. However, I mean, you can kind of play around with it until you get it the way you want it. I kind of just like it like that. And don't forget to do both sides. After you ungroup it, don't forget to click off of it somewhere and then click that very bottom one. You want to have the illusion that shadow is like way out there. You want to have the illusion that it is sitting on something. Beautiful. Okay. Now we add our papers. Go back to our shapes. Now we add, and go ahead and make it white, because you want your papers to be white, or an off-white would be fine even. And if you're not sure exactly where the end of your paper should be, look at the corner where the rounded is, and that should tell you. But you can also move that just long enough to look and then put it back. And if you didn't put it back, or you don't know if you put it back in the exact same spot, that is what you do. Now, I'm going to take and add a shadow, because you want it to seem like it is sitting there, like it's a paper sitting there. And this is the part where it gets really fun, really fast, and really and truly, I'm being sarcastic as far as the fun part. You want your shadow, I know I clicked on the wrong one, but you want your shadow, because we're on this side, you want your shadow to be on this side, okay? So, Now you're going to duplicate that one. And while you do want it to be exactly in the same spot on this side you do not. So this is where you want to zoom in, because you're going to need to zoom in. All the way to the other edge. And you're going to pull this back. And you can see the shadow, so you can tell that that's the second part. You want it to be close to the edge, but you don't want it to overlap. I don't know why this is being crazy for. Sometimes you have to zoom it in a great deal. And sometimes you have to go to the size. And we're working on the width. That is exactly what I want. I don't know if you can see it. And let me see if I can zoom it back out so you can see. You want this to have the illusion that it's another page. See how it's got the this shadowy effect? Now you're going to want to duplicate. Make sure it's still there. It's got the shadow. Make it larger so you can see it. I didn't really do the bottom one with the first one, and that's fine. Back to fit. And you've got a little bit of a layered look. Now you can go as many as you want. And you can even go down 2. I mean, really and truly, the choice is up to you as far as appearance goes, because this is all about appearance. And you can click on this one. And I'll go back up one. And then click back on the top one. If that gives you more of the look that you're looking for. Because really you don't have to do this. This is just kind of giving you that look like it's paperless laying there. Now, if you notice on this side, it looks like the paper is just sitting there. If you take and highlight your rings and bring it to the front, now it looks like paper sitting there. Click out of it so you can see without all the dots. Okay. Now we need to do the exact same thing to this side. So you're going to want to really raise it back up to 400 because you want to be able to grab a hold of all 3 sheets. And usually when it's so small, you can't do that. So I'm holding down the shift button. I clicked on the first one. I'm going to hold down the shift button and click on the second one and the third one. And I am going to Control C. I'm going to zoom it back down to fit and slide. And I'm going to Control V. And now I'm going to bring these over. And now I want to flip them. Did I flip them? is not working. The flip is not working. So that would be 190, right? Did I tell you guys how much I really hated the... Actually, there's another way we can do this. Ignore that. Put it back the way it was. Zoom in. Click out of them. Click the second one because the first one is exactly where you want it. And you're not stretching it out, so make sure you don't have those double arrows. But you're going to take it and you're going to slide it so that it's... Come on. You're basically wanting it to... And you're wanting the shadow to be on the opposite side. And on the bottom. And you can kind of see the shadow a little bit there. Now, I want the shadow there. What was that shadow? 247. This is probably not going to work because it didn't work the last time, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. It did work. Did you see that? It did work. Now, zoom it back to fit. Click out of it, grab your rings, go back to arrange and bring it to the front. And now your paper is set up so that it looks like paper. You can also choose to make it bigger if you want. If you don't want to see the little stationery or the little stitches, personally, it doesn't bother me. That's kind of one of the reasons why we put them there, so you can see them. Now that we have this set up, you have what you need for this one to be able to create an array of different things. You can put a year at a glance here. You can put all kinds of different stuff here. But we're not done. We still have to create for each month because you want the tabs to appear to have moved from one side to the next. So what you're going to do is you're going to duplicate, or you're going to take each one of these. Remember, we have them all as one. You're going to do, actually we're going to duplicate this first because I don't want to mess it up. That one, this template is now done. You can use this for an array of different things. So now let's duplicate it so we don't mess anything up. Now this is going to be our month. So let's rename it Planner Months. Now we're going to take and we're going to highlight. I'm actually going to bring it forward so it appears to be in between pages like that. And now we're going to copy and paste, and we're going to bring it over here. And can we flip it? We can flip it. Don't worry about the names being backwards. It's fine. Ungroup. Or no, actually, let's not ungroup it just yet because we want to bring it over here. Send to the backs. Not quite that far back. Yep. And that looks like it is lined up actually really well. So now let's ungroup it. And let's see if we can't flip the name. There we go. So click on the, we're going to turn it. So you're basically going back and forth between the flips. Wow. Actually, you're just clicking the one. I just gave myself more work than I really needed. Just the one. The one that has the arrows pointing side to side instead of up and down. And I know that in a sense it looks a little different than it is on the other side, but that's the way it's supposed to look. Now, because there are 12 months, we have to do this 12 times. I know that sounds crazy, but you got January. Now we've got February, March, April, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I know it feels like we're jumping the gun, but we're really not. You're not going to do much more to these planners, to this part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I wish there was a way I could grab a hold of more than one, but it's not going to let me. That would be nice. I think that was it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. Okay, now this is really simple. Every one of these are ungrouped. These are not. So these we want to ungroup. Now, you can go through and group each individual one. Make sure you're not grabbing the paper. You don't have to, but you can. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to highlight these February through December, and you're going to delete them. And then you're going to come over here, and you're going to delete this January on this side. January slide is done. Come to February. You're going to delete January, and then March through December. And on this side, you're going to delete January and February. We didn't ungroup that one. Make sure you ungroup before you delete. And you're going to repeat the same process each time. Make sure that you're keeping... How did I get rid of January? You were not supposed to get rid of January. Copy. Paste. And... make sure that January, I'm going backwards, aren't I? Front. There we go. Not supposed to. So scratched. I'm so sorry. I told y'all wrong. Do not get rid of January. Keep January. Now you're going to keep January, February, and March. And you're going to get rid of, don't forget to ungroup, because we didn't ungroup before we made all those copies. Whatever you're keeping on this side, get rid of on this side. And you can make these two go back another layer, not that far back. So they're behind two papers now. Like I said, that's really optional. This is April. Group. Now, once you get done with, what am I doing? Once you get done with this, we're going to have one, so I'm going to make one more copy. We're going to make a copy after we do the December. You'll have one where we have one with all of the tabs on the right side. By the time you're done, you're going to have two with all of the tabs on the left side. And the reason why you're doing that is the first one that's going to have the tabs on the left side that's for December. That's for the month of December. The next one is going to be for the anything after the months that you want to do. And you're actually going to, you're not going to have to do, actually no, we're not. You're only going to have one because these are just templates. You can reuse them over and over again. And I'll show you what I mean as soon as we're done with all of this. I'll kind of give you a heads up. June. The beauty of doing this is once you make your first template, the rest of them is not that hard to do. It's just a matter of changing your background, changing your design there. And that's not hard to do. Excuse me. All right, we're in July. August. That's my birth month, August. And September. October. And if you forget which month you just did, you just go back. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, the last one is really easy to do, especially if you didn't ungroup all of these. You just click on it and click over. Done. So we have our cover. This is our cover. Then we have our one with all of them on the right side. Then we have all of them as if they were turning the pages. And then we have one with all of them on the left side. And then we have our blank copy in case we need it. Now, we are now done with these. And you can take and kind of layer those back if you want. You can bring this forward if you want. As long as when you're all said and done, your binder rings are at the absolute front. They have to be at the absolute front. Perfect. Now, hit done. Was just making sure my lines were fine. And that's fine. Go over it, look at it, see how it feels to you, how it looks to you. Does it look even? Does it look like it belongs? Is there anything out of the way? If you find that there is later on, it's very easy to fix. Click done. That takes you back to the actual presentation, and as you can see, our cover is already there. Now, say we want to add a new slide. Now, this is kind of giving you an idea. I'm not going to go 100% into how to create a digital slide or a digital planner from the template. I'm just going to give you the basics. So you click on slide and you click new slide. Mine takes a few minutes. And then you could also right click on it and you can, there's a way, no, here it is. I'm sorry, it's on the, used to you can right click on it. Over here on the right side, it'll say the layout. Click that arrow and it gives you all of them that we just created. And you can choose which one you want. And that'll be that one. That's what'll go there. And then you just create your design right inside and you're done. That is all there is to making a template. Make sure that you title your templates. Helps if I spell it right. Title your template. I don't like mine being stored. Well, I keep mine stored in iCloud, but I also like one stored in OneDrive so I can easily get to it. Actually, I'm gonna, yeah, OneDrive. And then I can always come back to this one and go into it. But the cool thing is as you can see, I'm not moving any of that. I can add to it, but I'm not going to take the chance of accidentally moving a page off the thing, accidentally moving one of my tabs off the thing. I don't have to worry about that. And to me, having these templates makes it, that just, when you don't do what I did not know how to do, editing the master copy, and I would make my slides, it was really not fun. Not fun at all. Well, that's all there is. It's very easy to create a template so you can make your very own digital planner. The really cool thing about these planners is you can create one that you're going to print. I wouldn't suggest printing these particular ones because this is more set up for the digital planner. I use mine. I use GoodNotes is the program I use on mine. I think I paid like $7 for it when I got it. Well worth it. It was a one-time pay. I do all of my digital planning on my iPad, and it just makes things so much easier for me. Alright guys, I hope you really enjoyed this little tutorial on how to make a digital planner. If there is ever anything particular that you would like to see me create, make a comment down below or shoot me an email and I will see what I can do on creating a tutorial for that. If you like the planner template, but you don't want to have to go through the creation of it yourself, I will post this in my Etsy shop and you will find all that information down below in the description. So as always guys, have a blessed day and remember to keep crafting your best life.